Do I think that foreigners must try to sound like natives? My short answer is no. I think I can understand pretty well why someone would want to sound native, but in no means do I think it's necessary. I have friends from other countries like Germany, France, Brazil, Taiwan, whose command of English is extremely good, and they sound pretty close to native. But then when someone, a native English speaker, hears in a conversation a small accent, they'll ask them something like, "Oh, where are you from?" And this can be very discouraging for them because they've put in so much effort into trying to perfect it. But I don't think that's something that anyone should be discouraged by or disappointed by, because, I mean, most often than not, it's the person who asks that question is just curious, right? They want to know about your culture, about your language, about you. So I don't think it's a bad thing. But also there's this question of appropriation, right? In the United States, it's a pretty, they call it a melting pot, because there's so many people, different races and skin colors and origins. And so yeah, theoretically you could learn English with an American accent and fit in, and no one would ever know that you're foreign. But in other countries, like, say, East Asia, like Japan and China, I've had friends that try to learn these languages, and they really enjoy learning the language. So at first they go there and they speak and they learn and they absorb like a sponge, and people are very grateful. They're like, wow, he really cares about our culture, and that's really cool. But after a couple of years, then people start to get suspicious, because they're like, why is he still trying to learn trying to learn our language and perfect it, and trying to assimilate so hard into our culture. Some people can find it weird. And the same goes for even within English, right? I mean, I grew up in the United States, in New England, and yeah, I mean, I've been to the United Kingdom many times, and I think I can do a pretty good English accent, but I would never ever do an English accent in front of a British person or while I'm in the United Kingdom, because firstly it can be insulting, and it's also it's dishonest about who I am, and I think the same. I mean, I don't see any reason why that should be any different for a foreign speaker trying to learn English, right? I mean, I don't see any reason to deny who you are, trying to hide that. That being said, on the other hand, I think there's no disadvantage to trying to learn a language as well as you possibly can. I studied linguistics, and so one of the first things I try to master is the pronunciation, the phonology, the phonetics, the prosody. But the thing is, there are more important things to learn in a language than just that, right? I mean, the vocabulary, the idioms, and especially, for example, the register, right? If you're speaking very casually in a formal context, that could be pretty disastrous. Or if you're too formal in an informal setting, that's weird too. So there's much more important things to master than just the accent. So I hope that was helpful.